language? Yeah.
Ma'am, Bhushan.
Yes, Bhushan.
Ma'am, machine language is a low-level language which is
Very nice.
specifically designed for a processor or a computer or any electronic device to understand the tasks that we give the particular computer to perform.
Very nice. So binary language means some 1010 combination. That is basically the machine
1010.
language. Okay. So if I'm writing this number to my machine 1010, some kind of combination to perform operation like 1010 102, not two to possibly nahi, zero something. This kind of combination if writing in machine. So what kind of problem you will face? For example, for addition, you have to enter this particular binary combination. To perform the subtraction, you have to enter this particular combination. So what kind of problem you are facing when you are entering this binary digits for performing the operation?
Ma'am, the most difficult thing that we are facing is to remember these particular bits binary
Yeah,
language, because remembering add is easy rather than remembering 10100 100.
yeah,
That is very tough, tedious task.
very nice. So that is the reason, that's why we are not using binary version directly. So to overcome this problem you are facing, human error you can get it, gross error you can do it for performing this operation. If you miss one bit or you replace one bit, the whole meaning of this particular pattern will be changed. So problem you are facing like a gross error, human error is possible, time consuming. So to overcome this problem, what thing comes in picture? How we can represent this number in a short version? How we can
We
represent this
write it
number?
in
Sorry.
Ma'am, we write it in high level language, not high particularly high level, but in normal
See, in the
high
machine,
level language.
I have to enter this particular number. So, in place of writing this number, what I can do? You are directly jumping to the last version. I'm not going there. I'm just asking the second version. To overcome this binary version problem, gross error and time consuming, what thing arises?
Ma'am, we can store it in a decimal form.
Very nice. So, solution is writing in a hexadecimal version. That's why we are learning the hexadecimal version. So rather than writing this number in a binary version, rather than writing this particular 8 bit, I am just writing the hexadecimal version of this word. This is the A and this is the 4. So I can write it A4H. A4H. So this is the reduced version. So as per the user, it's easy for them. So that is the solution. Now the next thing comes in picture. When you are entering A4H, so for you A4H is assume it add, and for subtraction you having a 109 92. So for subtraction to writing a 92H, so you have a lots of operations, lots of instruction will be there. So to memorize each and every hexadecimal number for a instruction, it's very inconvenient for the programmer and the user. So to overcome this particular thing, what thing arises? If you are writing A4H for addition, assume it ki, we are working in that environment and we know ki addition ke liye I have to say the code A4. For subtraction we have to say the code 92H to the machine. For any other operation I have to set some other hexadecimal number. So whoever working on this environment, for that person it's easy to catch that code language. But if some other person wanted to use that thing, so to familiarize that particular code and to memorize each and everything, and then they can use it, so that is the tough implementation for them. So that kind of problem they are facing, then they are using a hexadecimal number. So to overcome that particular issue, uh, one solution arise. Anybody can tell me what was that solution?
Ma'am, just
Assembly
repeat that one.
language.
Yeah, very nice. So assembly language comes in picture, or either I can say this add and subtract. Basically, we just given this particular hexadecimal pattern to English like letter. So this English like letter is nothing but a assembly language which is easy for us to understand. So we can say addition. So addition, universally everybody know addition means to perform the addition between the two binary digit or bytes. So everybody knows that thing. So that's why we have given the English like letter. So that's why assembly language arises. So in microprocessor, we understand how we move from machine language to assembly language, machine language to assembly language journey. So we understand what kind of problem and how we can overcome that particular thing. So we all understand what is the journey of this. Okay, so I hope this part is clear, because this is very important, the journey from machine language to assembly language in microprocessor. Is it clear? Yeah. What kind of problem will be there, how it can resolve it. So till now we having this solution, and as a CS engineer right now you moved to other version, and that version is the high level language. High level language, what is a high level language? It's a more user friendly rather than the machine friendly, and here whatever we discussed till now, that is a more machine friendly, more machine dependent. Machine dependent means it depending upon the processor architecture. So it's easy to understand by the machine, but the high level language is easy to understand by the programmer. So for them that is easy. So if we are comforting the programmer, somehow machine level will be increased. Like, you can understand multiple layer introduced between the machine and your high level language. Multiple layers will be there. So when you are using a code in high level language, it will be converted for the machine again in binary language. So only you are working on the high level language, because you, for a programmer, it should be the easy. For them it should be the easy, that's why you are using a high level language code. But for the machine right now, only machine understand the binary pattern. That's why you are reading the history, how the machine will work, because at the end machine will not work whatever high level language you are writing. Machine will work in a binary pattern. So that's why you need to understand how the binary pattern interpret your high level work. That's why we are studying this microprocessor. That is the reason as a CS student you are studying this thing. So that is the purpose of the microprocessor in a computer science person. Okay, so first part I think I cleared. Now I am moving to the next part. When any machine, question 2 is, when any machine or microprocessor wanted to execute the program, how many steps we required? And microprocessor want to execute the program, so how many steps you required? Can you tell me?
Ma'am, first the processor will fetch from the memory and
Very
then
nice. Yeah, first I will write it. Wait a minute, bacha. First I will write it. Microprocessor basically connected to the memory. If I will not connect it to the memory, is it possible your microprocessor can perform any kind of task? Anybody can respond it about it. If I'm
no,
not
ma'am.
connecting my microprocessor with the memory,
No,
is it
ma'am.
possible? No.
No.
Yeah, correct. Very good. It's not possible. That's why we are studying this thing, this particular part. So if your processor want to execute
Ma'am,
any program, yeah,
ma'am,
yes,
excuse me. Ma'am, I have a doubt.
yeah,
Ma'am, I think it is possible to execute a program if it is not connected to the memory.
okay, how, Bhushan?
Ma'am, we can execute the program on runtime, no?
Definitely, we can execute the program in the runtime mode. But can you tell me, in a runtime mode also, if I'm having a 3 to 4 line of instruction, 3 to 4 line of instruction. So this 3 to 4 line of instruction, if I wanted to execute that particular code, so that every line should be fetch, execute, and run. We have to do that thing. So how the processor will take this 4 line directly? You are saying
Ma'am,
run one by one line you are saying, but taking this particular one by one line, from where it will take? Runtime means I can understand it will be execute one by one like that. So but if you wanted to execute this 4 line, how the processor will take line by line? Because processor don't have an internal memory, it's only having a temporary register which can only hold a, depending upon the size of register, either 8-bit, either 16-bit, either 32-bit value which you have to interpret or manipulate it. But the meaning of that particular value, like if I'm writing add B, so add B correspond to some hexadecimal number, so it should be there somewhere. So we have to just keep that thing somewhere, so I can take this thing, because you know processor perform this all task in a cycles. That question is related to this.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so are you getting my point? Or maybe after this also clear, which I am discussing right now, to perform the program via processor, how many steps we require? Anybody can memorize that thing. After this thing will be totally clear. Yes, to execute the program, how many steps performed by the processor? Assume it in
Fetch,
a
decode, and execute.
very nice. Fetch, decode, and execute. Now I'm telling you what exactly this decode and execute. Okay, so here fetching means whatever instruction you have to just process by the processor first. Processor will take that particular instruction. Okay, so assume it if processor wanted to fetch this add B, so this meaning of this instruction is fetch. Fetching means you are fetching the meaning of instruction. So you are fetching this particular thing. After fetching ATH, processor need to understand ki what is the meaning of ATH, because processor don't know what is the meaning of ATH. That's why you are decoding ATH. Acha, okay, ATH equals to plus. Addition hota hai. Okay. Then decode it. Later on execute. In the execute, whatever addition will perform by the arithmetic logical unit, that particular content will be stored in the accumulator. So that 3 steps performed by the processor. So your work for a single instruction perform in a 3 cycles: fetch, decode, and execute. So that's why if you are saying in a runtime, we can directly run with the processor. So here you are not directly dealing with the data key only 20h I have to read and write it. No, you are not performing such kind of operation. Whatever instruction it's written, first you have to fetch it, decode it, and execute it. So that's why processor need to store each and everything in the memory. If it's not there, it's not possible to understand by the processor ki how to perform this particular instruction, because all the opcodes, all the mnemonics stored inside the memory. That is the reason ki we need to perform this particular 3 tasks inside your laptop. Again, if I'm writing any kind of command in a high level language, so first of course fetching will be happen, because processor is a pure machine which don't understand. You can understand this thing in that way. You have a one robot, and robot is the machine. You want your robot behave like a human. So this is the machine. If you want it behave like a human, you have to put each and every action whatever performed by the human, you have to teach your robot. You have to teach your robot, or either you have to write a programming for that. For example, if I have to pick something, something will be there, your robot should be pick that thing. If somebody will be there emotional level, robot have to respond in that way. So everything you have to program. Unless and until you will not teach your robot, in artificial intelligence we can say we are training the sample. Whatever new machine we are creating, first we will train that, then your machine is ready to recognize the unknown things or recognize the same things. Okay, so like a robot, your microprocessor is also the machine which don't understand anything. If you are writing 1010 whatever, machine will not understand anything, because machine don't have any data ki what is the meaning of this binary values. It can perform the any manipulation operation, but you have to instruct the machine ki this operation is this, then you have to perform this. So everything whatever you want, first as a programmer you have to teach. So before the artificial intelligence, everything is performed in a embedded system, microprocessor and microcontroller. So when the artificial intelligence was not in picture, on that time robot are designing in that way. You are doing a programming to teach your robot. You are writing a code, if this thing will be happen, perform this, if this thing will happen, perform this. So you know the problem is that to teach each and everything to the robot as a machine, to writing a code each and everything. It's a very tedious for the robot, because for an unknown condition, for or lots of condition, it's not possible you can teach each and every situation to robot. So here artificial intelligence comes in picture. You are training your data, lakhs and crores of data. So if you are having a many data, so the possibility of giving an accurate result by the robot will be the more. So due to artificial intelligence, you are able to perform this particular thing. After artificial intelligence, deep learning also comes in picture. So in a deep learning also this thing will be there. Lots of layers will be there. You are training your samples. You are training your samples via machine, and your machine will understand the thing. So restriction of the robot in a processor and controller, the coding size, coding limitation, how much you can code it. That's why this AL and deep learning part comes in picture. That is also the revolution of your processor controller. Your robot is right now learning the AL and DL. Your robot can do this particular task. So whatever we started with the first on the electronic circuits, due to the problem in response time problem in the electronic circuit, we move to the microprocessor, then we move to the controller, then again enhance the speed of the processor, we again move to the processor, then again to overcome the problem we introduce this AL along with the processor, then we introduce that DL with the along with the processor. So in that condition your machine become more intelligent. Initially your machine, I can say it's a dumb means I have to teach each and everything, then your machine will understand, or whatever unknown factor will become, first I have to teach the machine, then it can perform. But in case of the AL and DL, you are just training your machine. So if the some unknown condition will be there, so whatever previous experience will be there, on that basis your machine are able to take the action. That is the importance of this AL and DL along with the processor and controller. So that's why right now in a market everybody using this particular technique. And second advantage of this, when you are using this particular technique, you don't need to buy any kind of hardware. Along with your laptop processor, your desktop processor, you can perform certain algorithm on for while capturing a real-time data. How you can capture the real-time data? You have your jack, your audio, your camera. You can take the data from the any website, then perform this particular task and say your theory ki whatever you are saying that is correct. So this AL and DLA somehow for implementation you are not restricted too much on the hardware, because whatever laptop and desktop you have it, they given this flexibility you can perform your own task by this. So that's why all market right now working on this direction. For a COVID, in a COVID situation, you will see writes lots of research paper, lots of thing going on. Still you can understand ki no touch zone is there, nobody can touch anything, everybody inside them, but still research is going on the peak. If you see the Google Scholar, you are getting a lakhs and crores of COVID papers, COVID researchers, student also working on that. So due to this ALDL, and this AL and DL is also working with the Android application platform. Android application on the TensorFlow, you can introduce this thing. TensorFlow is the software by which you can design your own machine model. You just have, according to your data set, you can design your own Android application model and you can get the result. And here Google also introduced some teaching model for the artificial intelligence. Here you just have to put the sample, like if you want to design such kind of machine which can recognize the fruit, ki which fruit is that, ki either it's apple, banana, and any other. So on that condition, Google teaching model, you have to just load your data, all the samples images via your camera, and just train your model, and it will create automatic model. It will take some time, and after creating that thing you just have to change some kind of modification in your code, only file name or something is that according to your thing, and your machine is ready to recognize the fruit, whatever fruit you fed it with the samples. So this ALDL in case of your branch, It's playing a very important role in a COVID detection. Also you are able to detect it ki, you know, in a futuristic prediction ki, depending upon the previous data set ki how many person are able to affect the COVID, you know, such kind of paper you can also see that thing. So you can understand the future of processor controller coming to this AL, DL and Android and, you know, computer person mix with this particular electronic thing. They can perform a lots of things, so they have to understand this thing. And this AL and DL is nothing but a pure mathematics. So here mathematics, because all the algorithm whatever we are creating na, it's based on the mathematics concept. So here very important role playing by the engineers, computer, electronics and mathematics. These three person combined this thing and anybody can use it. And here most of the thing is the independent. You don't need to write the code. This Google teaching model, they already written their code, only you have to just modify it. You will find one YouTube video also to do this particular task. It's a very simple, on the YouTube it's available. So my thing is that what I was discussing ki how we move from machine to execute the program. So we discussed that part. Then second thing we discussed this decode, execute and fetch. What is the importance of that? Now next thing we are discussing, what is the importance of mnemonics? Anybody can tell me what is the importance of mnemonics? Yeah. Anybody can tell me what is mnemonics? Here you can understand I have given the name add. This add is called the A4H. So this is the meaning for the machine. So this is the opcode for the addition. This is called the opcode. If I'm writing add B, this is the instruction format. So this particular whole thing is called the mnemonics, which is understandable by you. This is called the mnemonics. When you are converting this mnemonics into this hexadecimal, that is called the opcode, and this opcode will understandable by the machine. This thing is easily understandable by the programmer. So that's why mnemonics comes in picture. So this whole instruction is called the mnemonics. This whole instruction is called the mnemonics. This is called the opcode. The next thing, if I will discuss like this, MVI A comma 30H. So here this MVI A having a opcode and this 30H is called the operand, because by this you can perform the operation, and this whole thing is called the mnemonics. Okay, so in each and every instruction you need to understand what is opcode, what is the operand. Opcode means for that you created some kind of binary pattern which is understandable by the machine. So in your 8085 processor, your 8085 is a 8-bit processor. So depending upon the bit, you will decide ki how many instruction and how many bit patterns you can design it. So if you have a 8-bit processor, so I am doing 2 to the power 8. So 2 to the power 8 is 256. So in 256, 246 binary pattern I can design. 246 binary pattern I can design. Binary pattern means like if I'm saying like A1H, A2H, 20H, 30H, and by this 246 binary pattern I can derive a 74 instruction. That's a very important value. Now I'm telling you what is the meaning of that. So basically if you have a 8-bit microprocessor, so you have a 256 combination for that. Like we are saying na, if we have a 2-bit processor, 2 to the power 2-bit. So according to that, how many combination you can derive? You can derive a 4 combination. So similarly, in 8-bit microprocessor, if you have a 256 decimal pattern, so you can derive a 246 binary pattern among this, and 74 instruction you can derive from this. Like, you know, if you have a 2 to the power 16, means your processor is 16-bit processor. So on that particular condition, how many bit pattern you can derive? 2 to the power 16 is nothing but a 65536. 65536. That much binary pattern you can design it, and if you convert this thing in the instruction, so it can generate certain instructions. Okay, so this is the important data because you are studying a 8085 processor, so you need to understand कि how many binary patterns you can derive via 8-bit processor. This binary pattern is nothing but this combination of binary bits. Like I said it, this thing. For addition, you have this binary patterns. So I derive one binary pattern. This subtraction having this second binary pattern. So similarly, every instruction having a certain binary pattern. So for a 8-bit processor, how many binary patterns is possible? So this is the important answer you have to just memorize for the processor point of view. This is the important part. That's why I explain this thing, and how it's derived I also explain the same thing. Okay, now the next part we have to discuss. Next part is that ki, assume that you are using a 8085 microprocessor. In a previous class I discussed it. Question 1, you have a 8085 microprocessor. The manufacturer of this processor is Intel, and the substitute of this microprocessor is in Motorola. Anybody can tell me the number? IC number, that is 6800. This is a Motorola microprocessor, 8-bit. Okay, so anybody can give me answer. Whatever code you have written for the 8085 microprocessor, or whatever instruction is available for the 8085 microprocessor, it will be work for this processor also. Anybody can tell me? Like if I'm writing add b, this 8085 will understand add b syntax. So if I will write this add b in 6800 Motorola, this add b will work for the Motorola 6800 or not? Both are the 8-bit microprocessor, only the manufacturers are different. So anybody can tell me, whatever instruction I'm writing in a 8085, same instruction set will work for the 6800 Motorola. Is it true?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who is that? Yeah, can you tell me your name?
Yogesh Besla.
Yogesh. Okay, anybody wanted to clear about the Yogesh answer? Is it correct? Yes. According to Yogesh, he said it will work. Yeah, anybody just wanted to give the another answer, or is it correct according to you? Are you agreeing with the Yogesh? Yes. Yogesh says whatever instruction set is available for 8085, it will be work for the 6800 Motorola IC also. So Yogesh answer is yes. Anybody wanted to give another answer? Yes. Everybody agree with Yogesh? Yeah, at least
Yes,
responded.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Acha, everybody agree. Okay. So Yogesh, I will clarify. Maybe you misunderstood my statement I said about the 8051 controller. Maybe you misunderstand with that. 8085 having a some assembly instruction set, and it's having own opcode sheet. 680800 Motorola is a 8-bit processor. It will perform the same task, but it's having their own instruction set. So if you are writing the same instruction for this thing also, it will not work. Correct answer is that when the manufacturer is changing, your whole format will be the change. Like whatever configuration is available in MI phone, the same configuration and the same way of dealing in another company phone, it will be little bit different. Okay, so similarly in a processor, if your manufacturer is changing, and again your series number is changing also, like if you remember, we studied 8086 also, that is the Intel 86. So here the number is changing, so again the architecture is changing, because this is a 8-bit, this is a 16-bit. Here the manufacturer is changing, so how the format can be the same? I said it na, no manufacturer can produce the same circuitry, same designing. So in that condition, whatever code you have written for the 8085, it will not work for the Motorola, because internal circuitry difference. I said this statement for 8051 microcontroller. In case of microcontroller, they took the copyright ki whatever code you have written for the Intel 8051 microcontroller, it will be applicable or other substitute of the 8051 family of a different manufacturer. It's a case of 8051. Here will be applicable, but here will not be applicable. This is the processor. So just remember this thing. You are confusing with that data. Okay. Is it clear, Yogesh? I hope it's clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now next thing we are discussing about basically what is the way to assemble the program? How you can assemble your code? Next question is how you can assemble your code. Assemble your code means how you can find out ki what kind of error will be there, what will be the output in the software, what are the way you can do this. Assume it you write certain line of code, so how you explain your machine ki the meaning of this code is this. What is a possible way to perform this thing? How you can assemble your code, or in another language, in your term, how you can compile your code, what are the ways possible. If I will talking about the compiler, then how you can compile your code, what are the different methods. If I'm talking about the assembly language, how you can assemble your code, what are the methods available. Anybody can tell me? Assemble your code means finding out the error and getting the output. So anybody can tell me how you can assemble your code, what are the ways is possible. Anybody having any idea? Yes? Yeah, anybody can please respond it. Yes or no at least.
शायद इंडेक्सिंग होएगी, मतलब कि इसका मतलब क्या है, ऐसा कुछ.
Yeah, indirectly you are correct. So basically if I'm writing like this instruction, add B, so your machine how will it understand कि 8B क्या होता है, क्योंकि machine only can understand binary version or hexadecimal in short. So 8B का meaning 80H है. So when you are writing a code, your machine have to understand. Till now you perform a 2 to 3 program. So if you are executing the code, do you remember you are writing only code, then you are executing, you are getting this 80H with memory address, then you are getting a address. Do you remember when you are sharing the screenshot with me, you are getting this all the opcode along with this. Mobile mein if you are doing, in the mobile you are seeing this thing. In a laptop you are not able to see this part. Whoever using a mobile simulator, did you notice that thing when you are writing certain code, while execution you can see in front of a memory address they written certain opcodes. So how you are assembling this code, how you can compile this particular thing, what are the ways? Indirectly you said that thing, but it's called some name. How you can assemble? Assemble means you can find out the error, you can see the execution of your program or result. So what are the way? Anybody can having any hint? We studied in a computer architecture also this part. Anybody wanted to give the answer? Acha, how you can convert your code from assembly language to machine language? This is assembly language. If you wanted to convert this assembly language to this machine language, what are the ways is possible? If you wrote the code in your simulator, how it will be converted from assembly language to machine? Yes. Anybody can give the answer? Yeah. Acha, what is the purpose of compiler?
Ma'am, compile the program and convert it into low-level language.
Definitely. So what is the work of this assembler? Here assemble your code. So you have to use the assembler. Yeah, you have to use the assembler.
The
You
code
have
in
a
a proper
compiler.
sequence.
Yeah, you have a assembler. So in your mobile simulator, you can see when you are assemble and execute it, then you are able to see your result. And second way is hand assembly. Hand assembly means when you are present in the lab, so there I will give the kit and you have a code. After writing a code, you have to find out the opcode, this opcode. After writing this opcode, you are directly entering this opcode into the machine, then it will show the result. So that is called the hand assembly. You are manually writing a opcode from the opcode sheet, and here you are assembly directly taking out all the opcode when you say assemble and execute. So these are the two possible way to assemble your code. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for today, we are finishing this session. If you have any doubt, you can ask me.